Well, we're joined now in the studio by political commentators Chloe Dobbs and Andy Williams. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Morning.
Plenty in the news today. Shall we start with this story about the Oxford Union president-elect, George Abercrombie, who actually debated Charlie Kirk in person a few months ago, but has been heavily criticised after seeming to celebrate his death on social media.
Well, there is absolutely no excuse for anyone celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I mean, I completely disagree with his politics, with all sorts of opinions he held, but that is not the point. This was a 31-year-old man who had kids, who was shot dead in cold blood, and anybody condoning that in any way is completely unacceptable. And for me, this is about two things, and Chloe can speak to the Oxford aspect as an alum. Firstly, this is about political violence, and there is a big question as to whether there is a rise in political violence as a result of political polarisation. And if that's the case, that is incredibly concerning. I was concerned by Donald Trump's comments, which I think were more divisive than they needed to be. I think a president of the United States should come out and say this is a time for the nation to come together. The other thing is we have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is gun violence in America. And there were 47,000 gun-related deaths in America in 2023, and in the UK, there were 24. Now, even if you adjust per head of population, that's 391 times as many gun deaths. This is an American problem, and it is a sickness, and it has to stop.
Chloe, you pretty much broke this story yesterday. I'm very proud of you. Is that you obviously got all the inside scoop on what's going on in the Oxford Union, being a former student yourself. This has sent shockwaves through the union, hasn't it? I know the union current administration, which is outgoing. So just for the audience's sake, just explain to us what the union is actually. Perhaps that would be a good place to start and then take it from there for us.
Yeah, so the Oxford Union is often known as the best debating society in the world. And to quote their own words, they consider themselves to be the last bastion of free speech. They have been very committed to platforming controversial people. I was there when Kathleen Stock came and spoke, and there was a huge campaign to try and get that event cancelled, but they went ahead and they stood by their principles. But now what seems to be happening is we've got a president-elect, so he will be president-elect for the autumn and due to be the president in January. He appeared in what we have in screenshots of the General Committee chat on WhatsApp and on his Instagram to be celebrating Charlie Kirk being shot in a very degrading manner, saying Charlie Kirk got shot lol, and even swearing on WhatsApp.
Let's bleep go.
Yes, and why this... I've seen loads of lefty liberal idiots on Instagram and TikTok celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and that is concerning for me. But the reason why this really concerns me is this is the man who is due to be the president of an association that is committed to free speech and allowing people who have controversial views to be heard, not to wish death upon them. And the reason why it's particularly concerning is because I think it's a safety concern. You have big speakers like Jordan Peterson go and speak at the Oxford Union, right? Is Jordan Peterson going to want to go and speak knowing that the president, he is trusting with his safety, might wish death upon him?
Well, this is the problem I have with it. And, of course, the union, that what you were describing, has distanced themselves from him. And I believe he's apologised for the statements, saying he said them at the heat of the moment. But, Andy, my concern with this is quite deep-rooted. I'm sorry to jump in here, Mary, but I'm very worried about a radical group of young people in our country. They are becoming more and more radicalised, and the lack of humanity and empathy. The first thing that should come to any human being is, oh my goodness, someone has died. And that doesn't seem to be, seems more like a political point scoring. And this is not just a man who's seen him online. He's debated this man. He's spoken to this man. And we all sit here and have feisty debates, but we all respect each other. We shake hands at the end of it and we have a laugh. What's happened to our society?
No, I mean, I totally agree with that. I would say, I think, let's be really careful not to pretend that this is a problem that only exists on the left.
No, I'm not.
It happens on...
I
know, I'm just being clear. I think it happens at both extreme ends of politics, and that's why I reject extreme politics and always have.
I'm sure, I mean, there's no doubt truth in that, but I think Trump put his finger on a particular issue, which is that in recent years, people with what I would call ordinary conservative views that were certainly mainstream until a couple of decades ago, traditional views on marriage, those kind of things, are Nazis. And that is a slogan that's thrown about all the time. I was called a fascist and a Nazi after I made a speech saying that we need to have more children. Now, and the trouble is that in our society, the one slur that is left that can call you truly evil is being a Nazi. That's what we use as our yardstick. And once somebody thinks you're a Nazi, then anything goes. You're no longer a human being. And I think Trump is right to point that out.
I think that's true, but you feel that because that's the side of the fence that you come from.
Fair.
But if you saw my Twitter feed and some of the stuff I get every time I come on this channel, you'd see it from that side as well. I think it's equally bad. But I think the real point is the Oxford Union, if nothing else, is an organisation that is designed to facilitate and foster like free debate and thoughtful debate and robust debate. And if you have somebody at the helm who is celebrating somebody's death, it's not good enough to say, oh, it was the heat of the moment. Like, come on. You know, that's not acceptable.
For the killer of activist Charlie Kirk, as US investigators have released new CCTV and appealed for help identifying a person of interest.
The FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the gunman's identification. And footage shows the suspect fleeing, running across a rooftop, jumping down and disappearing into a street.
Well, the fatal shot is believed to have been fired from a rooftop around 130 metres from where Kirk was speaking.
Well, we're now joined by spokesperson for the Republicans overseas, Sarah Elliott. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. I think what we're asking here on the show today, Sarah, is what's taking the authorities so long for such a high-profile case? Of course, we're seeing a lot of misinformation out on social media, lots of speculation about who this person might be. Sarah, what sort of things perhaps go into this that us Brits might not understand?
Well, I mean, for one, I mean, just the population is much larger. The space and size and scope of that university is quite large. There's many different ways to escape and maneuver. But, you know, I have full confidence in the FBI that they will find this person. He is on the run, but he's not on the run for long. And it will be a great day for justice when he is caught.
Now, Sarah, Charlie Kirk was clearly very close to a number of people in the Republican movement, including the president and the vice president. He was very much loved, well known around the world. How has his death affected Republicans, the Republican Party itself?
Oh, my gosh, it's been earth-shaking. And just the way he brought so many people into politics, particularly young people. He motivated and inspired. He made politics accessible and clear and understandable to people. He also gave permission to debate ideas. He was the free speech warrior. And what I have found so impressive is just how large and international his reach was. You know, yesterday I was in the hairdresser, and two of the hairdressers in their 40s and 50s followed him and were really heartbroken over it. That's here in the UK. You know, vigils were in Madrid. I had a school mom today say her teenage daughter said everybody knows about this and has been talking about this, and this is in a UK secondary school. He just had this way of connecting with people, engaging the youth, and he wasn't afraid. He would talk to anybody. If he disagreed with you, it didn't matter, but let's talk about it. Let's have a civil, respectful discussion, and that is his legacy. And I think he will create many more Charlie Kirks in the world now after the fact.
Now, Sarah Elliott there, spokesperson for Republicans overseas. I'm sorry for your loss for your country, but also in some ways for the entire world. Thank you so much for coming on, Sarah. Appreciate it.